When you're growing up as a child, you're focusing on having fun and keeping up with all the things that are being thrown at you. You're not worrying about things like school, work, or relationships, and most likely you're not focusing on your relationship with your parents. After all, they'll always be there and they will always look after you. So you go about your life, you go to elementary school, meet new people, have lots of new experiences. And when you get back home, your parents are there like normal. These guardians that have played such overwhelmingly large parts in shaping your life now hug you, feed you, and ask you how your day was. Of course, you don't ask how their day was. Well, maybe you do, in a what was the best and worst part of your day sort of setting, or happy crappy, rosebud thorn, we've all heard of them. But even then, as a kid, you don't really know how your parents are feeling, because if they feel bad, they're most likely masking it to save you from worry. Now, whether it's a little later when you're a teenager, or maybe you always knew this, but the notion dawns on you, oh, my parents are real people with feelings and life experiences. Maybe when they suggest I do something, I should do it. And sometimes it's not when you're a teenager. Sometimes it's when you're older than that. So, consequently, you begin to ask them how their days went, and you seriously want to know the good and the bad of what's happening in their lives. And then all those stories that you heard about your parents' lives in that mythical time before you were born, they now make you think, what if I knew my parents when they were my age? Would I have been friends with them? Maybe. They seem pretty cool. I always had a feeling that I would really get to know my parents when we were adults. In the future, we would go to a wedding or go on a trip together. We'd have fun and talk about topics that we truthfully wanted to know each other's opinions about. I would be able to see in real life what my parents were like as people, not just as my parents. And more importantly, would become closer as friends. Of course, I don't really know, but I felt like this growth and extra time was necessary so that you can trust your parents' opinion on problems with relationships and other challenges that you face as an adult. And so being able to do this was taken away from all of us. But what I like to do is I like to think back on hearing all those stories of my mom when my parents were together before my brothers and I were born. I'm talking about the hiking trips out in California that she went on with my dad, spending time in Hawaii with family, getting her PhD. And we also got to hear the amazing stories that happened after we were born, of the homeschooling communities out in California, planning elaborately themed birthday parties, singing here with the choir, with me also singing, really small. And even though I already knew this, I now had evidence of how truly wonderful my mom was, and I realized how lucky I was to have her, how lucky I am to have had her as a mother. So when we heard all these stories and I saw the bounty of photos last winter, we laughed, cried, and sang. I knew I wasn't going to be able to go on any more trips with my mom or get to know her over time in the future, but it was these stories that she told us, and that my dad, family, and friends told us that changed my perception of not only my mom, but also of life. I realized that I wanted to live just as fruitful lives as my parents had. I want to travel and spend time with family so that we stay close. I want to study biology and discover new ways of combating disease. And because of my mom showing my brothers and I how to do this with her actions, everything that she did, ranging from singing here with the choir or studying the effects of pain on fruit fly larvae, I know that my brothers and I will go at our tasks just the way that she did, and that's by giving it our all. Thank you.